Hey, this is Brian from Cohesity, and I'm going to show you how to run some PowerShell scripts for managing Cohesity. Uh, if you take a look on Google and search for Cohesity GitHub, uh, you'll find Cohesity's main GitHub page. And here's my personal contribution here. B-Celts Cohesity, that's me. And this is my scripts repository. This is all Cohesity. And I got tons of PowerShell examples for all kinds of automation workflows in Cohesity. The one I'm going to talk about today is called Protection Report. This gives you a nice report of past protection runs. And I give you, in the README, I give you download commands so that you can properly download the script or scripts in the correct format. Um, Oftentimes what people do is they'll click on here and they'll copy this and they end up with HTML embedded in their script. You can click raw and actually copy and paste this into a PowerShell file on your system, but ideally you just run these download commands. Now before you do that, you got to make sure you have a new enough version of PowerShell. So for example, if I look on Windows Server 2012 R2 and I launch PowerShell, if I type $host, it'll tell me about this PowerShell and it says it's version 4.0. If you have anything less than version 5.1, stuff's not going to work. Reason is Cohesity and most other web-based interfaces in the world require a version of SSL or TLS version 1.2 minimum. So this PowerShell is too old to support that version of web encryption, so we need to upgrade. The easiest thing you can do is upgrade to PowerShell Core. So let's go to Google and let's search for PowerShell for every system. And go to this GitHub page here. And if you scroll down a bit, here's the latest LTS or stable release. Don't use the preview. It's almost always broken. We'll get the one for Windows 64. There's also versions for various flavors of Linux and Mac. I use the one on my Mac all the time. Works great. Anyway, I'll download the Win64. I'll launch it. And I'm just going to pin this to this taskbar so it'll always be here for me. Now, if you look at $host, you see that we're running version 7.1. Plenty new enough. And note that this is, let's see, this is something else you can type here, PS version table. It tells you this is PowerShell Core, with which, if you take a look at this one, doesn't say it, but it's the desktop edition of PowerShell. So slightly different, but pretty much all the same functionality, especially when it comes to Cohesity scripts. So let's make a scripts folder. And then let's close this one. This one's no good. Let's go and download my script. So I'm just going to copy this commands to the clipboard and paste. So now we got two files downloaded. Protection report.ps1, that's the script we're interested in, and this helper library called cohesity-api.ps1, which contains various things like, if I say .source.cohesity-api file, it brings its functions into my current session. Then I can do things like API auth, connect to my VE3 Cohesity cluster as admin. It's going to prompt me for my password. And now I'm connected. Now I can do things like jobs equals API get protection jobs. And then take a look. There's my protection jobs, right? And I don't have to do that. I can manually walk around in the API like that. I can take a look at job 0, name, the start time, right? And in any case, now we can run this protection report. So let's take a look at the example here. Oops. And I'm going to fix this up to work in my environment here. So I'm going to connect to my VE3 cluster as admin. Domain is local for me, so I'm just going to get rid of that. Or I could say domain local, but I could get rid of this. It's optional because it defaults to local. But what the heck, I'll just put local in here. I'm going to tell it what level of granularity. I'm saying show apps. That means it's going to show databases and sub-objects of the protection job. I'm going to connect to my SMTP server to send a report to my email. You know what? I'll skip this part. You get the idea, but I'm just going to have it save out to the local file. So I'm going to run this command here. It's optional to email it. So let's see. So it spits out in text, largely just to show you that it's running, and then it outputs the, let's go to SQL and scripts here. There's my output HTML file. So you can see that report that ran today at 10:13, and for each protection job, you can see the past number of runs. Now, if we go back to the GitHub page, days back, you can set it to however many days you want. Default 7 days. You could set it to 31 if you like. You could customize, only show certain job types if you like. If you only want to see failures or the last run, or you want to skip the log backups, whether you want to show individual, say VMs in a VM backup job, or show apps will show you databases within underneath servers within database protection jobs, and then a couple of parameters to show you to send to a specific email address, so you can send that report to via email, and you can also specify the out path. By default, it's the path where the script is run. So if we take a look here, you can see successes. Here's a failure where I had an issue backing up a VM. Let's find a database. This looks a little funny. I think that's specific to this old version of Internet Explorer. It looks just fine on Chrome and more modern. So here's an example of an Oracle backup where you can see the server names, and you can also see the database names underneath. And when you get an error, by the way, you'll see error details in there. So it gives you a nice view of the state of the environment. If anybody's interested in any particular, whether something was backed up, it should be in here. And it also tells you the expiration date and whether the backup completed within the expected time. That's the SLA, pass-fail. Warnings. So that's the basics of how to run the script. Now let's take a look at how to run the script from, like, say, Windows Task Scheduler. So to run this from outside of PowerShell, you would say pwsh-command, and then we'll run that script again, that command again. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in one line. And you'll notice when I ran the script, it didn't prompt me for my password. That's because when I logged in to that cluster the first time, it did prompt me for my password, and it stored it encrypted in the user's registry. So I can make use of that when I'm running a scheduled task, because it's not going to prompt me for my password, right? So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to say, where am I? -command /scripts/ oops. Get rid of that extra slash there. Okay, so that's a working command line. PowerShell stinks, doesn't let you copy paste properly. But anyway, let's go and go to Task Scheduler. And create a task. I'm going to call this protection report. Triggers. Click new. Let's say daily. Occurs every day. I can specify what time. Actions. And I'm going to start a program. The program is going to be pwsh. Arguments are going to be just this part. I'm going to start in C:/scripts. Okay. And I'm going to run whether the user is logged in or not. Click OK. It should prompt me for my password. Okay. Now, before we test this, let me just delete this guy. And then we'll run it. You can look at the history tab, see what's going on. It looks like I got some kind of error. Microsoft doesn't give you a whole lot of real estate in this interface. Doesn't tell you much. Let's see. There it is. Okay, so I'm just going to copy this. I think this is what the problem is. Ah, oops. I just have to browse to it. Okay. Re-enter my password. And let's see if it works this time. Okay, looks good. So let's go back to C:*scripts, and there's my output. So that'll give me a daily report at that location. And again, I can add the parameters to email the output to one or more recipients or a group. So you can have a protection report in everybody's inbox in a periodic fashion. So that's it. Any questions, reach out to your sales team or call Cohesity support, and they'll help you out, or get in touch with me, and I'll help you out. And happy coding.